New Hampshire. You know, we live in the greatest country in the history of the world. American exceptionalism is something that none of us should ever have to apologize for. And right now we are in a moment where on the world stage, we not only have conflicts that are brewing, but we have other adversaries who are watching. They look to see the leadership that we have in the United States of America. Many of them hold us up on that pedestal. It's not because of how great we all are today, but we are held up on that pedestal because of generations who came before us, who are willing to give up everything in defense of these flags, our freedom, our liberty. Our service members and our diplomats sacrificed so much to put us here. If you were like me, you wake up on an August day in 2021, seeing Afghanistan overrun by the Taliban right after a withdrawal of the United States government. We saw it coming, yet we see billions of dollars worth of equipment, all the lives lost, the people wounded, the expense, and all of a sudden all that sacrifice gets turned over and 13 Blue Star families become Gold Star families. And you know it wasn't just about Afghanistan. Because Putin was watching, China was watching, North Korea was watching, Iran was watching, to see what kind of an underbelly we have, what kind of a spine we have as a nation. You know China wants to go into Taiwan. We saw Russia going to Ukraine. North Korea test firing missiles, Iran ramping up uranium enrichment. On September 11th of 2023, the United States government announced a ransom payment to Iran on September 11th of $6 billion. And then we woke up just a few days ago to a horrific sight of Hamas terrorists committing the worst offenses targeting Jews since Nazi Germany. We stand proudly and unapologetically shoulder to shoulder with our nation's great ally Israel as it works to eradicate Hamas terrorists. We do it understanding with the clearest sense of purpose what these alliances mean. I don't like wearing this suit as much as the one I get to wear the next 2 days. I leave here to go head off to reserve duty, and when I take this suit off and I put the other one on, there's no politics. Quite frankly, I don't care as a soldier who the president is. I'm there to serve. And I, as well as many of you in this room, would be willing to die for this flag and this freedom. We have a mission over the course of this next year to save America. It is imperative that when primaries are over, that we move forward as one team, top down, bottom up. Whether you are running for President of the United States or U.S. Senate or Congress, or you're running for a local office. You know, New Hampshire now has more Republicans than Democrats, so you all should be very proud of that. Now, just a couple states over, I come from a state called New York, where we have over 3 million more Democrats than Republicans. 22% of New York is made up of Republicans, yet in last year's election, we barely lost a race in which we saw many House seats flip from Democrat to Republican to make sure that we have a Republican majority in the House of Representatives. And we need to unite, and we need to make sure our own house is in order. I congratulate Jim Jordan today on winning the vote. They'll go to the floor after the weekend. And I'll just say this to all of my friends down in Washington. I served with them for 4 terms for 8 years. Their unity is going to be so critical in tackling what is right in front of all of us that we want to see when we say we can't make it to the next election with so many of these challenges we face unless we are working today. We see it at our southern border. When we get gaslit that everything is secure by Mayorkas, and we say, why don't you just finish construction of the border wall? Why are you ramping up catch and release? Why did you get rid of Title 42? Why did you get rid of the Remain in Mexico policy? Why are you attacking our Customs and Border Patrol agents? We have a country to secure. We have an economy to secure. We have a debt and a deficit that needs to be tackled. We have kids trapped in poor-performing schools who deserve access, need access to a quality education. Yeah, with a clear sense of purpose, this Republican majority that's there now is one that we're all leaning on. More than being Republicans, we're leaning on them as Americans. Because we saw what one-party Democrat rule did, and we know what it would do if they still had it. Yes, this Republican majority is our last line of defense, and we're going to need them to be on offense, fighting for us, until the cavalry arrives in January of 2025. So here's the thing, and we just heard it from Governor DeSantis when he was talking about Florida. We saw it in New York. Everyone was talking nationally about how there was going to be a red wave, a red tsunami. But it never panned out. Why? I would say that in order to create a red wave across this entire country, if we come across anybody who is on a board trying to ride a wave, we're knocking them off the board. The way that the wave gets created is by all of us doing absolutely everything in our power until the polls close and the last ballot is counted, fighting for every inch to be able to win these elections, taking nothing for granted. Wave elections are created not by what we are against, but what we are for. In 1994, you have Haley Barbour chairing the RNC, and Newt Gingrich wanted to be the Speaker of the House. We won that Republican majority in the House, not because we were out there just saying Bill Clinton's bad, vote for me, or Democrats are bad, vote for me. We had an agenda. Our candidates knew what was in it. The media knew what was in it. Voters had their favorite bullets in it, and they were talking about it on the trail. There was a wave because of what we as Republicans stood for, not what we were against. And in New York, we had primaries. I had a 4-way primary for governor. There were primaries up and down the ballot. But the reason why we were successful in a state that only has 22% Republican was because when the primaries are over, I don't care what side you were on any of these primaries, we are all on one side of one team. And more important than that team as Republicans is for this flag. It's for this country, knowing what is at stake if we come up short. And it's about getting into the cities, getting uncomfortable. When our high-paid political consultants tell us it's not worth it going into that very blue, that very Democrat area, they'll never vote for you. Let me tell you what I experienced. They're waiting there with open arms. The Democrat voters in these areas haven't seen Democrats in a long time either. Republicans aren't going because they feel if they go, they'll never earn their vote. Democrats aren't going because they feel like even if they show up, it doesn't matter. Whether they go or not, they're still going to have those votes. Well, we were able to win the Asian vote in New York. We were able to win the Dominican vote. We were able to win the Orthodox Jewish vote. Democratic constituencies all across New York City and other cities were voting red. Not because I said that I was running against Kathy Hochul, vote for me. Not because I was saying Democrats were bad, vote for me. I said that if you elect me on day one, my first act is to tell the district attorney in Manhattan, Alvin Bragg, that he's fired. I said that on day one, I will have an emergency order that would suspend Castle's bail. New York is the only state in the whole country that doesn't give judges discretion to weigh dangerousness when setting bail. We would say on day one, as governor, we will recognize that parents have a fundamental right to control the upbringing of their child, and they don't relinquish that right to the government by sending their kids off to school. And we said on day one, every COVID mandate in the state was going to be gone. People knew that on day one, they were going to have Republican leadership, conservative leadership, and that transcended blind partisan loyalty. Yes, they're registered Democrats. Yes, they've been voting Democrat for all of their life, but they were willing to give Republicans a chance because they care more about their kids' education. They care more about being able to ride a subway and walk a street. They care more about safety and freedom and prosperity. It's more important than that letter that's next to their name. It is conservative principles that we will bring to the voters all across America. We'll bring it to red states and blue states and purple states. Let all Democrats be warned that conservatives are coming, Republicans are coming, and we are coming not for power and prestige and perks and fame. We are coming in defense of this flag. We are coming in defense of our freedom and our liberty because we will remain forever the greatest country in the history of the world, come hell or high water. Yes, the motto of New Hampshire is one that should be taken to heart all across this entire country. The Hamas terrorist sympathizers said that today is a day of jihad. Well, for us here, every single day, it's a day of freedom. Freedom proudly, everyone to be secure in their religion, on the streets, at home, and more. We have a country to go save. Let's get it done. Thank you, New Hampshire, for the invite. Can't wait to be back. God bless you all.